and welcome back Kiwi Yoinkers and all other folk to Sunsaw Gaming. Today we have the SU-100Y. We're just going into Blitz Stars here and we're going to just quickly go over the stats of this vehicle first. Now as you can see, the damage per minute there at 1851 is the lowest for any tier 6 tank destroyer. Its standard penetration values at 196 is the third highest pen at this tier. Which is very, very good, and that's on the AP rounds. Now, on the premium AP rounds, the penetration actually drops, and the damage goes up. So the two shell types are essentially reversed from what they normally would be. And I do say, if you're at tier 6, you can basically use the premium ammo rounds and put them through absolutely any tank you want. At tier 7, you fire your standard AP rounds, and they will go through pretty much every tier 7 heavy. There's a couple of exceptions. Not looking at armor profile, of course, but on paper, this tank should be able to go through pretty much any tank you look at, which is very, very good. So the two tanks that have higher penetration value than this are the Churchill gun carrier at 214 and the Nashorn at 203. Just going down here, you can see there it's got a very nice sort of top speed to it. It is a very nimbly quick sort of tank for its size. I mean, it has an okay camouflage value and all of that sort of stuff as well. Now, looking at the average damage across the entire player base at 1063, if you are doing sort of around 1,000 damage, 1,500, which is only about 3 shells out of this tank. 2 shells for 1,000, 3 shells for 1,500, you know. Then you're doing better than the average player. Now, I average, I think, around 1,500 in this tank, but I don't play it that much, and I'm not a big fan of it. We're just going to jump into my game here, and we're just going to go over what I have on this tank. Loadout wise. So this is all the stats here. We're not going to go through those because we did just do that. But this is what I'm running for my consumables. Gun rammer, you've got the repair kit, and of course you've got the auto kit over there as well. Now if we swap over to the provisions, I'll show you exactly what I've got in those. So we have the extra combat rations, the protective kit, and the condensed milk. This is what I run for my shell types, my shell loadouts. Now, I do fire this premium ammunition a lot more, just because it does have that higher damage. And I mean, I still make a good monetary return in this tank doing that. And this is what I run for the equipment. I've got the gun rammer. I do run that over the calibrated because this thing doesn't really need much more pen. I run the defensive system, the camouflage net, the enhanced gun laying drive, just because I like that aim time to be a bit quicker. Improved assembly, your engine accelerator, and your vertical stabilizer. Now, this is all up to you. These are just my personal preferences. And I find that they work for me. They do work for me. So we're going to jump into our first match here, and I do have a platoon mate with me, Lieutenant Yoink Your Kill. So he's the deputy of my clan, and we don't platoon very often. So this was actually a good match in the SU-100Y with him covering me in the ARL, and we basically carry this entire team. Now you will notice there are a couple of tier 7s in this match, which is good. It's good. You want to see this tank up against tier 7s in these sorts of videos, telling you, teaching you how to use it, how to basically stay alive. And that's what this tank is. You need to stay alive in this thing. It is not a brawler. It has the worst damage per minute at tier 6. I mean, it's got a great alpha and a great pen, but lowest damage per minute, so you cannot brawl. This thing only has 60 armor on the front, sides, and rear, and the bounces that you get will basically all be off the gun or the gun mantlet. And just seeing here, I mean, it's a decently accurate tank. Just ripping 500 off of that very, very poor M4 over there, the Firefly. But we're going to finish him off here because our P43 can't seem to hit a target. I mean, that thing's got a better accuracy gun than I do. I don't know how he didn't manage to hit him. But hey, that's a kill for me. So I'm on 1000 damage here. Now, I wasn't sure if the M6 could see me or not, so I just sort of sat in place. He could see me, he did hit me, that hurt. Right, so how to play this tank. While you're playing this tank, you always want to stay with your team. You never want to end up alone in this thing. But you don't really want a front line. This thing is giant. I mean, it dwarfs things like the KV-2. So it's a big tank. I mean, even that M6 over there, it's a relatively big tank, but compared to the SU-100Y, it is a tiny little thing. So you do want to stay back, you do want to try and use as much camo as you can, and you don't really want to brawl, because when you brawl, you get yourself into situations like what I'm about to get myself into. But as you can see, I just whopped the rest of the HP off of that Sentinel, so if you can stay alive and you can keep your hit points towards the later half of a match, this tank, that's where this tank starts doing really well, because you can just start one-shotting everybody on the field if your team has done the damage to them. Unfortunately, I did not manage to clear the 88 there. He did manage to kill me. So, I mean, that thing's got insane DPM anyway. There was no way I was going to win that engagement if I did not kill him. So we're just going to watch this guy here and see how well Lieutenant Yoink does. I mean, he's just cleared out the 88 that killed me, and I believe now he is actually focused on the Tiger 1, which is all good, because the SU-152 is not paying him any attention. He is paying attention to this WZ here, and Lieutenant manages to kill off the Tiger 1, and there we go. We have our first match. We got our first win, and I mean, I've done 2,600 damage just supporting the team, just staying back, staying hidden, using cover, and doing all of those sorts of things, which is what you need to do in the SU-100Y to be successful. Now, as you can see, I mean, Lieutenant yoinking all of my kills with his 1,500 damage. Good going there, Lieutenant. Thank you for that match. It was really fun. We'll have to do it again sometime. Anyway, we are going to hop into our second match here. Now, this one I am playing by myself, and this was the original video that I was going to use for this replay, for this little tutorial, I guess. Just to show, like, that last match was a little bit slow, and when I did get aggressive, it was over very quickly. So we do have other SU-100Ys in this match. There's one on my team and there's one on the enemy team as well. So you can see these things are relatively popular despite being giant blocks of butter. So I'm going to post up here. I'm just going to sit behind this tree. Hope something rushes this corner down here, or rushes the windmill, and just hope for that shot. But I mean, I'm looking at my entire team drive past me, so if the enemy comes around on my left, I would be absolutely screwed sitting out here. So I'm going to get myself out of here. Staying in those positions, it's just not smart in this tank. You cannot frontline in this thing, especially not being first in. You can frontline this thing and be a bully sort of in the last half of a match, but in the first half of a match you really cannot push with this tank. And there you go, that just shows the very bad 5 degrees of gun depression here. I'm having to pull right down over this hill to get the shot into the leopard there. I do set him on fire, which is great, and my teammate picks up the kill. Now there are too many people sitting up back there behind that bunker, so I am going to start pushing it aggressively with my medium and light tank here. We're going to turn around and use the great gun elevation on this tank just to slide that shot there into the bottom of the ARL and pick up the kill. So we're going to keep pushing through. Now I know there's another medium tank up there. He looks like he wants to drop down or engage or something. Our other light tank has turned around and gone back to base. They're going to try and hold off all the heavies and that sort of stuff, but I'm going to keep pushing forward. I know they've got their TDs pushed forward as well over towards our spawn, so I'm pretty safe to be doing this maneuver. Now, just as I'm doing this, I do notice that medium finally drops off the hill, so I'm going to flick around. I'm going to try and pick up the kill shot on him and save our other tank there a little bit of pain, just putting a standard AP shell through him. Now, you can see medium and light tank have come back this way to back me up. I do notice the SU-100Y, and right here I hit my adrenaline boost early and shoot him at the same time. Now I know that I'm going to out reload this guy. I'm running the gun rammer and I hit my adrenaline before I shot, so he doesn't really have much of a chance. And with the premium AP rounds, that 447 is not staying on him at all. So that's the kind of things you want to do in this tank, is preempt what's about to happen, especially if you come up against another one. If you can hit those adrenalines early, I mean, it starts your reload off a lot quicker, and it puts this tank down to about 12 seconds on its reload as opposed to the 14 seconds. So using those sorts of things like adrenaline wisely in this tank will help you out a lot. Now as for wiggling and all that sort of stuff, it doesn't really work in this tank, and staying hull down is not a thing with the 5 degrees of gun depression. As you can see, I've got to pull right up over this ridge to be able to get my gun down to be able to shoot at this Hellcat, which I do manage to clear, and this Wi-Fi Firefly, which I'm not quite reloaded for, but being patient, it's going to pay off for me here. Being patient is really going to work. So I don't move too far, I'm just going to wait for him. Bang. Pick up the shot, nice kill, 2,407 damage there. And I mean, I was hardly even trying, I just sort of moved my tank to the position where I was going to be safest. So get a nice class 1 mastery there, 50,000 credits, 5 kills, 2,400 damage, and that is how you play the SU-100Y. Just to recap, just be patient in this tank, do not rely on your armor, stick with your team, and try and conserve your hit points. Until next time guys, stay safe, use cover, cheers.